Cool. Welcome everybody online to the Sync the City 2021 final. My name is John Fagan and I'm the founder of Sync the City. And this is my partner in crime, Martin Blackwell from the Norwich Bid. We're broadcasting live from central Norwich, and it's an absolutely beautiful English summer's evening here. And we welcome everybody watching online from obviously a lot of people from Norwich, and I think distributed all around UK and Europe, and also I've heard people watching from Namibia. So we welcome you all, and feel free to drop a comment on the live stream about exactly where you are. So Martin, what have you been up to lately?
Well, funny you should ask that, John. We've been working on an Interreg project, a European project with partners in Europe called Upcycle Your Waste. So we've been working with businesses across the city under a snappy title of Can We Stick Our Head in Your Bin?
Cool.
Looking at the waste streams that are generated by those businesses and trying to work out how to upcycle them.
Cool. So how did it come? Why did you approach me? So you approached me towards the end of last year, and what was it about Sync the City?
I know, it was such a long time ago, but I'd seen Sync the City and how it worked, how you've got teams to really get to grips with an issue and try and solve it in 48 hours. So we thought, let's look at some of these waste streams and see if the teams can find ways to upcycle them.
Well, yeah, I mean, also my side, we've been running Sync the City for 5 years, and I really, when you sent your email, I've always wanted to run a themed event because normally it's quite open. So having a themed event where we're focused on a particular topic of upcycling was definitely, that's why we got involved. Sync the City is basically about solving local problems, and we've had 74 teams work over the last 6 years now. It's going to add up to 80 teams solving local problems, and basically it's just about people getting together over a weekend in teams and really, trying to find solutions, creative and pragmatic solutions to that. And we've been working here since 8 a.m. on Saturday. We've got 5 teams. They met pretty much on 8 a.m. They had never met each other before. No. They're forced together, come up with an idea, and they have absolutely started from scratch.
Yeah, to solve this problem of what do we do with our waste, and not just recycle it, to upcycle it. So we've given them a terrific challenge. I wonder how they've done.
And what kind of waste is it?
Oh, well, some of the key things that came out here, lots of cardboard and plastics, as you would expect, unbelievable amounts of pallets. One of the ones that really surprised me was how many tons, it's towards 50 tons of coffee grounds produced from all the coffee shops in Norwich a year. So there's some really interesting waste streams that will be fascinating to see how people can handle them.
Oh, well, it's obviously a huge topic, so shall we go and see what they've been up to?
I'm looking forward to it. Let's do that.
Cool.
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful welcome. I would like to introduce a speaker to you first of all. Is a guy called Ilko Brouwer, who is founder and owner of a business in the Netherlands called Circular Zaken, or Circular Affairs. He's been working in this arena for more than 20 years, and he represents the lead partner in our Interreg project. It's called Upcycle Your Waste. There are 7 partners in the UK, in France, the Netherlands and Belgium. And Ilko is going to tell us about the project and take us through how it started and where it's going to. So over to you, Ilko.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, well, yes, we can hear you.
Ah, okay. That's nice, because it's somewhere it said that the host enabled my speaking opportunities, but it looks like I'm able to talk to you. Can you see me as well, or?
Yeah, we can now see you.
Great. That's a warm welcome. Thank you very much.
Let me just tell you, you got to laugh at the beginning because your initials came up, which are KGB, and that means something completely different to us in the UK.
Yeah, I know what it means, but luckily they don't exist anymore. It's now the FSB, right? So, but those are two of my initials and the B of my last name. And actually my name pronounces as Gerco Brouwer. It's a typical Dutch name. So I can imagine you in England would have some difficulties pronouncing that. But to the Upcycle Your Waste project, thank you very much for letting me speak a little bit about the project here, inform you about it. I hope you have had a very successful day today, a very creative day. And I'm hoping to stay a little bit longer and find out what you came up with and what creative ideas came up today and what you are able to do with all the waste materials that have been mapped in the businesses in Norwich. But first of all, you already mentioned it a little bit, Martin, the Interreg 2Cs project, Upcycle Your Waste. It is a project where we work with 8 partners, 6 partners in 6 different pilot areas. Norwich, of course, where we are now, the Kent County Council, the city of Ostend, the city of Roubaix, the region of Eimond, it's more like a county, and of course the city of The Hague, who is the lead partner in this, and I'm representing the lead partner. And then we have 2 knowledge partners, one located in Belgium, Vives, and the TU Delft University, who are performing the waste scans, for instance. So why Upcycle Your Waste? Well, Upcycle Your Waste is an important project. Cities become more and more important with regards to the waste flows that go through a country. And cities almost represent 70% of all the citizens. All the legislation is mainly aimed at citizens, and the jobs are also for 70% represented by the cities. And not to forget, the GDP created in cities in Europe is created in cities for over 85%. So more and more cities play an important part. Then, of course, we know there is a matter of the resource depletion. Some of the resources we use grow scarce more and more and in an even faster pace. So we have to be very careful with our resources. Therefore, we need to reduce waste and realize a circular economy where we are very efficient with our resources. And within all this, SMEs are a forgotten sector. Civilians are dealt with by the governmental organizations, but SMEs have to do all these things by themselves. So this project is aimed to support them, mainly to support the waste from SMEs. So what do we need to do to support these SMEs? We have to create more insight in their waste flows. And when we do that, we have to improve the use of waste to increase the resource efficiency. In the 6 pilot areas we want to involve at least 30% of the companies, and at least 20% of the waste flows we want to have upcycled. And for that, we also want to improve the knowledge on waste and circular economy, circular business models amongst the SMEs, but also amongst the business supporting organizations, like, for instance, the BIDs. And we want to provide them with training so they can help themselves also. What is upcycling? I can imagine this has already been addressed a little bit, but the definition that we use in the project is for upcycling is that we want to transform waste or wasted products, parts or materials into secondary resources, for instance, as a product, as a part, or as a material, with an equal or better economic, technical, and societal quality. And that's very important, without using hazardous and harmful substances which could burden people or the environment. That's more like a general definition of upcycling we want to use that also can be found in circular economy, for instance. Well, the next phase, we are in our next step. We got an overview of all the waste streams that can be found in Norwich, at least a huge part of that. And what we want to do now is put it into a tender. We want to find out, and you did this today, what kind of creative ways can be found to deal with all these waste streams. And perhaps you can also, with your good ideas, apply for a bid and apply for a tender in the pilot areas. We do the same all over in the 6 pilot areas. So we have an overview of the different waste flows. Then we want to integrate the upcycling definition and perhaps also a CO2 criteria in the tender in order to find the highest upcycling ways that could be possible with the waste streams. And it's not just to make the flows more efficient, but also support local economy, because it is very important that on a local level, we are more resource efficient. That's a difficult task, of course, and it's not just the BID that should work on this, but it should be the whole community. But the BID could serve like a kind of service provider to create additional value with this regard for the SMEs in regard to waste handling. So they could help them find the legal opportunities that are available to use waste as a resource, to advise them in applying circular principles, or gain more insight in their resource flows, whether this could be outside of the company, whether this could be inside of their company, because resource efficiency is not just reusing waste, but also be efficient in waste in your resource flows internally in your company. So the overall target would be improve resource efficiency. And for that, of course, we developed also some training modules. There are 2 animations available, and we are working on 5 training modules. They will be, you can access them from, based on the website, Upcycle Your Waste. They can be found there on the Academy page. You can select them by selecting your language, and then there will be 5 modules available. For now, there are 2 modules available. We are working on the 3 other modules. They are very interesting for your improving your skills. They will give you a general introduction on circular economy. What is circular economy? Why is it important? Why is it important for the SMEs to also work on circular economy and resource efficiency? What are the circular business models that companies can use in order to improve their resource efficiency, but also to improve their business? Because circular economy, it's not called circular, it's not called economy for just a reason, because you can make money with it. It is still economy, but economy with respect to people and the environment. It also addresses the operational processes internally within the company. It addresses design new products from waste, but also designing new products. How are you able to design your product in a more circular manner? And what are the business models you can use for your business and for your new products? And of course, gaining insight in your waste flows internally. So you have waste is an ideal indicator for how efficient your operations are. If you follow your waste streams, you can find where you are overproducing, where you are buying too much resources, too much that, for instance, resources that are not required because you have them stored somewhere. So those kinds of things we address with the 5th module on waste. And then, of course, I hope you have a lot of new creative examples of how to deal with your business resource streams. There are a lot of examples available. I heard Martin speak about coffee grounds. It's a very interesting waste stream. You can grow mushrooms on them, for instance, but you also can make soap. And I recall that we had our first meeting to start off with the Upcycle Your Waste project. And then we handed over coffee cups made from spent coffee grounds. Very interesting product, very recyclable. You can just throw it into your organic bin and it can be composted, for instance.
Gerko,
so there are...
thank you for that. I think we're going to have to wind up because we're short on time. We are going to hear some examples, I think, that include coffee grounds. So do you have any final remarks for us, please?
Well, not, because my presentation or what I wanted to say was more or less finished.
Okay.
So I hope I can.
I'm sorry.
I can. No problem at all. I hope I can watch a little bit and find out what kind of creative ideas you came up with. It would be very nice to see what the ideas were.
Yeah, we hope to share those ideas across the partnership. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck for this evening.
Okay, we're going to... Hello, everybody. Woo! Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get down to business now. Yeah. As I said out there, literally these people have been brought together on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. from all kinds of backgrounds, and they don't know each other, and they've put into this environment to come up with solution. They don't even know about upcycling, actually. So we've been learning a lot, and they come up with these ideas. So bear in mind, give them a lot of support when they're up here, because it's really amazing that they've started from nothing, absolutely nothing, and what you see today has been created over the last 2 days. And, Julie came in at 7 a.m. this morning, and people were queuing up, having finished at 10, 11 a.m., no, PM, okay. 10, 11 PM, and then back here, they got to go home and then travel back in again, and they're here at 7 a.m. again, so it's pretty awesome. So we've got 6 teams. The plan was actually 5 teams. Does this work? I'll sort that out. So we had 5 teams, and we've had these amazing ambassadors here. So these T-shirts that you see them wearing, these guys were kind of here to be event assisters, so they check you in, give you a name badge, and if you need a drink of water or something like that, just doing the basics. And actually they were getting a little bit bored with that. And they were watching all the other teams working on ideas, so they randomly started working on their own idea, and Nigel really triggered them into doing that. So these guys were here just to take care of us. They've actually built and designed their own startup. They started, I don't know, yesterday afternoon, so, and they haven't had time to prepare pretty much all the slides and all that, so they're fully organic, would you say, with old school presentation technique. So they're up first, and then that's the running order, so we'll bring them up. Also, it's very strict, the timings of this, so it's strictly 5 minutes. So we're super strict on that. We don't want people waffling on. We want to be excited. And so the teams will get a bow at 4 minutes, and then a bow at 5 seconds to go? 5 minutes, and then it's strictly 1 minute for the judges to ask one question, and then you've got to answer that question quickly, and there'll be another bow at the 1 minute area, and then we've got to get the next ones on. So enjoy the show. See you later. Come on up. Yeah.
Okay, I plan to take it off, but it's not working. Hi all, I hope you're having a good evening so far. I'm very excited to be here, especially as we were kind of swindled last minute. But yeah, so just start off. Our aim is just to help solve the mask crisis. We're in the middle of a world pandemic. It's sort of hard to miss, but we're creating loads and loads of waste. And so we are producing and throwing away 3 million masks per minute, which is just a staggering amount of waste. And it's essentially just all going to landfill, but 75% is going into the sea. And the loops are going to get caught around fish, they die, the whole ecosystem depends on it. So yeah, we came up with an idea where we could essentially take from hospitals, from BID, from factories, their disposable masks. I heard one of the teams has come up with a platform called Scoop. Yes. And we're hoping that they are sorting out recycled materials, and maybe we could work with them to come get some disposable masks off of them. And yeah, our aim is just to take it to our industry and our customers mainly, and avoid them from going into the sea, avoid it from going into landfill, and just, yeah, help the economy improve carbon reduction. So yes, introducing Breathe. Like the logo means, we are essentially just creating breathable shoes, breathable trainers from the masks that you breathe through. And yeah, so the whole idea is that the bottoms, the soles, and the toe caps are made from recycled rubber, recycled plastic, which hopefully Scoop would help us out with, and our suppliers and our partners would help us out with. And then the canvas of the shoe and the laces of the shoe would come from the recycled masks, would come from the recycled cotton and the plastic in them. So yeah, the market potential. So in our very limited amount of time for market research, we went out into the city and we asked, and we did our own research on our phones, and we discovered that of the whole trainer market, 16% in the UK are vegan shoes. And in the US, 32% of the market are vegan shoes. So we're hoping we can kind of branch out into that market. And the whole market as a whole is worth £1.7 billion. I'm just saying, a little edgeway into that, you know, would be absolutely wonderful, yeah. So anyway, the product as a whole are value points, so that they're high quality due to both the materials that are being used, the breathability of the shoes, and also we were planning that the design would be that you'd kind of make a template of your foot, draw around your foot, send it to us, we then make the shoes bespoke, and then hopefully you don't have to buy like 4 pairs of shoes, checking which size fits and returning the rest back, therefore saving on delivery, the carbon from delivery, and the production. So yeah. The ethical side, people are often worried that when you buy ethical, you lose quality, but we're trying to combat that. So there's a whole ethical side of the upcycling as well. Comfort, yes, the comfort from the bespoke and from the material. And obviously the circular business model, which is what we're aiming to do here. We were hoping that in our design, essentially, once you've done with the trainers that hopefully last for years and years and years, you could then contact us and we will send you a prepaid delivery package, which then you can send back to us. We can then melt that down, remelt it, make it back into the shoes. So upcycling and upcycling and upcycling, really. Okay, so the business part, which we really have no idea about, but our price point, essentially, £55 in our small market research. Any more than that was really too expensive for people. But the cost would be £36 per unit. We make £19 profit per unit. So in total, even if we got 0.1% of that massive market, we would be making 1.74 million, which is rather nice. And that would only take us 32,000 units to produce 608 grand profit. So yes, the idea is to become rich, isn't it? That's what we're here for. We're only students, so yeah. And obviously, you know, there's so much to say. I mean, Waster, we've heard you're a team. I'm not sure which table you are. But yeah, marketing-wise, we hope we could use you as like an e-commerce platform for people who want to upcycle. We're thinking social media influencers. God, there's so much to say. Yeah, it's just so much. I'm going to just trade shows. Local Mr. Shoe, we went in our small market research. Local Mr. Shoe, absolutely loved it. We just want to plow back into the Norwich economy. And yeah, and it used to be biggest. Shoes used to be the biggest industry. We're going to make it again. Oh, yeah, shoot, we got questions. Just questions.
Stay up there a second. So, question, who's going?
Yes.
I'm going to ask a really tricky question. So, the durability of the shoe.
Yes.
What is the process from taking the raw mask and turning it into a kind of cotton fabric? How does that work?
Well, essentially, what our partners are that we were planning to go with were StartUpCycle and Vandal. Both in the production of shoes have been for a very long time, and in taking our design to them, I mean, they're geniuses at it, really, because they've made lots and lots of money. So we would hope that they know how to make a shoe very, very durable. And I mean, also the materials, the recycled plastic, the recycled rubber should essentially be as good as the last thing it was used on. And, you know, remelting, reheating, hoping to just keep it going forever and ever. No problem.
Thank you.
So
I mean, if you like, we'll just get going. Yeah. Good evening. I'm James.
And I'm Ellie.
And we are here to solve a problem. Far too much waste ends up in landfills because upcycling does not happen enough, and the planet suffers as a result. Why then is upcycling not more widespread? Put simply, waste producers don't know what they can upcycle or even how to do it. On the other hand, upcyclers and potential upcyclers do not know what types of waste nearby businesses produce and how much of it could be made available to them so they can make their upcycling ideas a reality.
Essentially, waste producers need a service that allows them to identify exactly which type of waste they can separate and then upcycle. So basically, what they want is to know how they can go from waste producers to waste providers. Equally, collection and transporting services want to find an efficient way of getting this waste to upcyclers. And existing upcyclers and even startup upcyclers want to find exactly the type, the quality and the quantity of waste that they need to transform that into a valuable product. So we want to create a platform that allows the upcycling industry basically to grow.
Scoop is that platform. Scoop is a business-to-business upcycling enabler. Using Scoop, businesses can report what waste they produce, how much of it they have, and when they need to get rid of it. Likewise, upcyclers can tell Scoop what waste they need to make their upcycled product. Scoop's intelligent data analytics software then facilitates this exchange. Scoop's system interprets and presents this data to our team and automatically connects waste providers with upcyclers to ensure as much waste as possible is upcycled into a valuable product, or at the very least, recycled.
So currently, there are approximately 700 businesses that are part of the Norwich Beads Waste and Recycling Scheme. Scoop could not just add value to these businesses, but also fill in the gaps of the existing system. Currently, these businesses want to find a very responsible way of disposing their waste that is cost efficient for them, but also convenient. Currently, upcyclers and even potential upcyclers, which we will find out very soon, cannot grow or develop without the data that Scoop can provide.
Scoop can save businesses far more on their waste disposal costs than they spend on our nominal monthly subscription. And Scoop therefore presents a really compelling value proposition to customers. Not only does Scoop reduce running costs, it also equips businesses with the data they need to obtain public incentives and subsidies for sustainable practices. Perhaps more importantly, this information and the promotional material that Scoop rewards businesses with are valuable PR tools. Scoop users can tell their customers exactly how much of their waste has been put towards supporting local upcyclers and saving the planet. By publicising the reports that Scoop delivers and advertising with digital and physical badges, businesses can quantify and convey the positive impact that they have on the environment to their customers. For upcyclers, Scoop is an indispensable asset for building relationships with local businesses and provides straightforward, convenient, and reliable sourcing of the waste they need to make their products.
Upcycling, as you know, is currently an underutilized practice, but this provides us an incredible opportunity to be the first ever platform that allows the upcycling industry to grow. And this industry can become very profitable, but also have an extremely beneficial impact on the environment. So how do they learn about Scoop? Initially, our marketing and partnership managers will directly approach these businesses, and they will also partner with key existing players in the waste management sector.
Our incredible team of sustainability activists, tech, data, and business experts need just £150,000 in seed money to launch. Because the data Scoop collects is versatile and the upcycling industry is still in its early stages, the potential for Scoop to expand both its area of operation and the services it offers is virtually limitless. With just a modest investment, we are projected to reach over £300,000 in profit by the end of year 3 and will be poised to become an essential player in the global upcycling revolution.
So this is not just a great business opportunity, but it can also help save the planet. So everyone should really remember,
don't skip it, scoop it.
Thank you very much. You have one.
Yeah. Very cool logo.
Thank you.
What research have you done into any other Scoops or any patent protection or any of that stuff? What would stop anybody just replicating it around the country?
Currently, there are businesses that are collecting data, like carbon thrusts, for example. There are businesses that are doing some sort of recycling, like Veolia, but there's no existing business that would collect this data and not just recycle, really upcycle the products. So I think we would be quite innovative in our offering.
And in terms of data protection, there's a huge incentive for businesses to be more relaxed about what they're happy to share with us and what we're happy to share backwards, because ultimately the data is really valuable, as we've said, as a PR tool and to facilitate supporting upcyclers and reducing their own costs. So I think hopefully that would outweigh any concerns they'd have about protection of the data. But it would be stored on a secure cloud. That's a matter for our tech team, I think.
This would all be behind their login. They would have to sign up to a plan in order to access this data. So this would not be readily available to them.
Thank you, Scoop.
Thank you.
Okay, we got Miko up next. Come on up, guys.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan and this is Holly and we are Miko. COVID-19 brought us so many problems from, oops, it's not working, another problem, from so much cardboard waste and most of us looking like this. Since a majority of us are doing remote work, we spend a lot of time in front of our computers, sitting down, and so we experience neck strain or all these posture issues.
It can be fitted right into your bag, taken on the train, and it is a great solution to yet another problem. So in terms of our product journey, we would be looking, as Scoop said, at sourcing our cardboard waste from Scoop. In terms of production, when we're starting off, we'll be looking at using Hackspace, so hiring the machines so that we can prototype and iterate on the designs that we currently have to refine them to a really high standard. The third step is customization. So one of the key things that all businesses love is sticking their logo on anything they can. And so talking to businesses, we found that like merchandising or giving products for onboarding for remote workers, they want their branding on everything. And the final step is delivery. So when we start smaller, we want to make sure that that is thought about, and we would use electric vans for delivery and that kind of thing. When we get bigger, we look at the sort of eco-impact on any delivery solution that we look for. So our target customers are small to medium enterprises with a much larger scale looking towards the future. But these are just some of the local businesses that we could approach at the moment. But it does not end with local. So we think that there are a number of other use cases than the ones that we have just shown you. And that is co-working spaces. So things like WeWork could have a whole stack of them at the reception, and they could just grab them and go. Anyone hot desking or anything like that. Also, bigger companies that don't want to invest in standing desks that without seeing if they actually work for their employers, if they do help with productivity. So this could be a solution that's affordable for them and gives them the results that they want to see. And this is how much it costs.
Yes, that is the question, and it's very affordable. For a Me Up, it would only cost you £8, and for a Me Move, it's just £4. How much did it cost us to make this? Half the price. And if you want to buy more or buy in bulk, we can give you a very good discount. And wait, there's more. After a day, we managed to make 750 pre-orders, so that's £4,000 plus the prize money. We'll definitely be able to make this. We have the orders, and you can also place your order now. The problems are real, as what you have seen earlier, and the solution is Miko.
Thank you for that presentation. As somebody who suffered from a bad back through lockdown, I could appreciate your solution. I just wondered, how quick and easy are they to assemble yourself? For example, you've got the one pre-assembled, but if I was to flat pack it, can I quickly assemble it when I get on the train or to my office?
Yeah, so that, thank you. So that would be part of our research and development, definitely. But in terms of, because we want to make them as quick as possible, especially the ones on the train, we want them to be basically fold, and that's it, like 2 movements at most. This one is probably like 10 minutes, but this is sort of the kind of thing that you would have sort of more permanently there. So that's sort of what we were thinking.
Up for Miko. So, yes, we've got Zing up next. And for all the further teams, we're having a bit of a problem with the clicker. So please bring up another team member just to manually operate the slides. So just sort that out amongst your teams. So, Zing. Let's Zing.
Hello everyone, I'm super excited. So, we are indeed Zing, and we had the mission to make peel more appealing. Now, I know, right? We were inspired by Chenpi, which is a Chinese product that they have been using as a go-to pick-me-up for over 700 years. Now, what it is dehydrated, organic, mandarin peel. Added flavors are licorice and salt and sugar. And it gives you an instant hit and wakes you up. So we were inspired. Oh, I wish you could see what I'm seeing right now. It gives you that instant hit. Now, we've used that idea, but we have tweaked it for the UK palate because we understand that this isn't everyone's bag. So we have tweaked it, and we've tweaked the process slightly. Okay, it all starts locally. It all starts locally with our shops and retailers. And so far, we have at least a dozen letters of interest saying that they want to work with us in this process. So we have, on our fact-finding mission, this bin that you can see was a photo that was taken in Norwich, just down the road yesterday. One store throws away 10 of those buckets full of orange peel, about this big, every single week. We would collect that, and we would use cargo bikes to transport it to our facility. At our facility, we would then separate the pith from the rind. The pith can be used to make extra byproducts, and the rind is then, with a macerator, used to make small flakes. Those small flakes, now this is really cool, we've also got these dehydrators. We take them to we take the flakes to the dehydration station. I know. And this is so cool because not only is it solar powered, so it's not using any electricity, it's also made from completely upcycled waste products. We put it in there overnight. We come back the next morning and ta-da, our flakes are ready. Then we put the flavour in. We've been looking at some really exciting flavours that are definitely matched to the UK palates. We then go inside, we package the product, and we then make sure it's in eco-friendly packaging, and our cargo bike delivers it back to the retailers that we're partnering with. It's a circular system. The bottom line on this is that from each store, we can take 4.5 tons of waste out of the system per store per year. But there's also money in it, don't worry. Our first startup initial cost is going to be that we would provide boxes of 100 units of Zing to our partner retailers, and they would buy them for £50 a box. Eventually, it's going to be £1.60 per unit. That gives us a potential revenue at full capacity of £4,415, but that's per one hydration unit. And of course, dehydration unit, sorry, per one, we could have more. Also, because of this process, this could be put in any city in the UK or any city in the world. So we've created a franchise model where we can share our technology, where we can share our process. And also, during this, we have come up with a ton of other byproducts using this process in order to make some amazing things. So, next time you feel like you want to reach for a coffee or a sugary snack, grab a Zing. Hello.
Hello. You mentioned that you'd adjusted the flavours for a UK palette. Can you talk us through a little bit about what you did to establish what went in here, please?
So, the originals, we've got the packaging, so we had a look at it. And then we had a look at popular UK flavours. We've also, because of how good the products are, with orange peel being full of nutrients and things like that, we really haven't had to add much. So the first one we're looking at is cinnamon, to give you that hit of sort of spicy sort-ofness without it being as harsh as the saltiness from and the licorice. Also, we've got ideas for like sweet and salty and that sort of thing. So it's still got that kind of, you know what I mean. Thank you.
So we're up next, we have Palatable, and you're going to drive the slides. Good stuff, okay. Good stuff.
So just a bit of extra setup time.
Lovely. Hello, everyone. I am Katie, this is Robin, and we are Palatable, and we make bespoke flooring from reclaimed wood. Now, our flooring is upcycled, and it is designed so that it doesn't break the bank or the planet either. And you'll see on your right-hand side of the pictures is actually on our team, Dieter, who just brought this through. That is actually his home, that is his flooring, and that is a floor that he has produced for himself and his family, and can testament to the durability of this in a living home, also with children. Now, pallets themselves are a bad waste stream. They typically actually only have a life of about 20 trips or less than 3 years. Now, at Palatable, we know this is a material that can last up to 100 years, so a 3-year lifespan just doesn't sit well with us. We don't think it's good enough. So our flooring is bespoke in its design and modular in its implementation. So we will have floor tiles that people can customize the finish and the style of and fit them in a similar way to that they would with any other type of wooden flooring, and also in any pattern that they want. Now, it is designed to be durable. This floor is your forever floor. It will outlive you. We have seen that 48% of homeowners have done some kind of home improvement over the past year. As we all know, people are in their houses a lot more. This means they're also willing to invest more in their homes and invest in something that is special for the space they're living in. So we went out and we spoke to some of our potential customers who were really receptive to the idea. We're surprised to find that our prototypes and samples here were actually pallet wood, and we're happy to have them as part of their own homes. They were excited to have an eco-friendly but customizable option that doesn't exist on the market at the moment.
Hello. So you might be thinking, how are we actually going to price this product? Well, we're looking for it to be $39.99 per square meter, and we have based that on costs that will give us a 56% profit, excluding labor in the first year of production. We had a look at some of the other options for flooring that are out there. The carpet here is at about £34 per square meter, limestone flooring at about 45, and then virgin wood oak flooring comes in at about 55 to 77 pounds per square meter. So for the wood options, we believe that our price point gives a good value to the customer. Speaking of our customers, we want to make sure that if you are investing in your flooring, you feel like you are part of the manufacturing process. So we'll be contacting each customer with the different stages of creating the flooring. We will be introducing them to the members of our team that are creating each stage. You can see some wonderful photographs of Dieter here collecting some of the materials yesterday. And we have produced these prototypes over the weekend. So our business is going to have 3 stages, and Dieter's just going to let you have a little touch of the flooring so you can see that it is real. Our first stage is exploration, so that's looking at the viability of our production process. So is it scalable? Is it safe? What are our waste products? How can we use those waste products in other means? So what can we do with the nails, for example? And it allows us to really test our proof of concept before we take it to the next stage, which is generation. So this is looking at how we can scale up to 10 to 20 homes where we've used this flooring. We will use them as case studies and show the durability and the quality and some of the different variants that we can create for customers. And then that leads us on to our later stage expansion. So after about 1 to 2 years of working on this, we want to explore other markets. So this is actually a passive home, which is a concept for a development in Little Plumstead, which is looking at high-end, eco-conscious housing. So we're thinking that we might be able to look at the construction industry, but we also want to bear in mind that this should be a local enterprise. So Norwich pallets for Norwich floors. We could franchise this to other cities so that if people wanted to follow this process, we wouldn't be saying that we're going to collect all pallets from the UK, delivered to all centres. We want it to be very much as carbon neutral as possible. So find your forever flooring with Palatable. Thank you.
Hi, just a more of a technical question. A lot of pallets contain formaldehyde in their construction. So how do you prove, or how do you trace and track that the pallets that you're using aren't going to contain those chemicals?
That's a very good question. So this is kind of why our exploration stage is sort of a 6-month process. Each pallet will have coding on it. I don't know if we've got the piece still on here, yeah. So it will be a basis of finding the correct sources. So some of the businesses we might find that we go to collect the pallets and they're just not suitable. But a lot of them are heat treated as part of the process. And we'll obviously be able to work out our own safety standards prior to it going into flooring as well. But yeah, that's a good point.
Well done. Good job, Palatable. Okay, so up next, the final pitch comes from Waster. Over to you guys. Want to click over the slides? It's not working. Oh yeah, good, sweet.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm James, and this is Sam, and we are Waster. We are a hyper-local marketplace for the purpose of buying and selling your upcycled products.
So the big thing that we found out over the weekend is that a third of consumers are really highly engaged in this marketplace. They want to be involved. They want to buy these sorts of products. But that doesn't address the problem. The problem is that actually when we went out there, 10% of people, that's it, know what upcycled actually means. And out of all those people, not a single one had bought or knowingly bought an upcycled product. It's an incredibly engaged or potentially engaged market, but they don't know how to access the resources, the products that they need to work with it. And so we created the centralized system, Waster. It's an online marketplace. It brings businesses, consumers, and everyone together to create a network of resources, products, ideas, innovations, and most importantly, inspiration. We want to target 3 key areas: our buyers, our sellers, and our resource makers. Now, we have existing businesses that produce the products, but they don't necessarily have a reliable mouthpiece that we can provide. They also don't have the stream of resources, and we've already held sort of preliminary discussions with the likes of Scoop and how they can help us resource those cheaply. And the same goes for the handcrafted makers. Why can't we build these with the people who've got these ideas, the small, the Etsy type people, and just need some inspiration on how to grow? When it comes to the buyers, we've already said there's 33% who want to do it, but the other 66% need to be engaged. We have community spaces, forums, tutorials, and other information that tells them why they should be. And then it comes to the resource makers, we need to get this off the streets, and we need to get it off in mass levels. 1 product is great, 100 products is even better. And we've already engaged with multiple businesses over the weekend, and the startling thing is this: every business that we spoke to not only wants to be involved, their products are on the Waster website right now. We could launch tomorrow, and they could sell. We've seen people up here. George Bailey is the big one for me. He's from Coral Eyewear, turns over £1 million a year. I've got a lovely set of his glasses here. I'd encourage you to look at them. He thinks that they are, and this is an incredible opportunity to build his network. And we've already got most of the businesses here creating that truly circular economy. 3 goals: inspire, innovate, and empower. Inspire the smaller businesses, inspire those startups to come up with ideas, build their businesses. This doesn't stop with those who are there today. Innovate, get that centralized market space. Get the ideas together, the community, and focus on the products. And empower. Give them the resources, give them the know-how, and people who are inspired will deliver.
So, we've got a platform, we've got the products, but how do you find us? We're going to work with Norwich Bid to use Norwich City as our interactive showroom, where we have a number of upcycled installations across the city. These could be from pallets to bins to bike racks to street art. The city really is our oyster. Of course, all of these products will be made with locally sourced waste, things like pallets, things like coffee grounds. Our ambient marketing will gamify the city through QR codes on these items. The QR code will take you to the Waster platform where you can buy these items, but not only that, it will tell you what the product was made of, the businesses that were involved in providing the waste and the sponsorship of these, but also the amount of waste you saved going into landfill.
We have 4 main retail resource streams that bring in income. We want to do our own product sales. Again, we want to work with Scoop, get the resources in cheaply and make our own products, the ones that James just talked about, and want to have it with a nice big profit margin. We want to go with our sponsorship and collaborations, from the installations to the entire platform. We want to bring other businesses in, and if you're small, we'll give 5%. If you're bigger, we'll do more. And we want to do events, both in the small businesses, at those installations, and on our tutorials. And we want to replicate this across Europe, and then across even wider. It's an easily replicable model. We want to use every resource possible and embrace that European feel.
So what do we want to achieve? We want to make upscaling the norm within our community. You can have all the upcycle products in the world, but without awareness, we cannot sell them. We want to make a business that not just turns a profit, but enable. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's products you want from stuff you don't in a city you love.
We'll get it.
Yeah, thank you for that very comprehensive presentation. So it's quite a diverse range of activities that you're kind of considering. So what's your starting point? How would you can't do everything at once? What would be your key thing to start with?
So I think the first thing to really emphasize is that we've had an incredible 2 sets of guys. I mean, you've seen the development on some of the innovation you've seen on the slideshow. We have that website ready to go. It can sell products tomorrow. Every single one in this room, we want to go tomorrow? Let's go. Let's do it. When it then comes to actually building it out, that comes down, if I'm being blunt, to people like BID, people like the council. We want to work with you, and we know you've been set this goal. So let's have that conversation. Let's get 50 products on that site. And then let's launch those big installations out and actually show that out there. We'll do our bit and encourage this community. We can see today from the fact that there's 100+ people here who want to actually engage in this community. It's about a partnership, and then that builds out over every single city. And I think, as James said, we've had wonderful products shown to us today. That's great. We can start with that. But unless we build that community, this is not going to go to the scale we know you guys want it to go to, and to the scale we want it to go to.
Give it up, give it up, give it up. Great, thank you, Waster. So, give it up for all the teams, the class of 2021 Sync the City. Woo! Yeah, good stuff. So, what's up next? So, as I said, we didn't say there are 2 prizes up here. There's the Judge's Choice and the People's Choice. So, the Judge's Choice is £3,000. So, the judges are now going to retire to the back room there, and maybe it's going to be about 20-30 minutes while they deliberate and come up with a winner. And we're going to do the People's Choice winner. That's going to be an audience vote. That's £1,000. So I'll just flick this over here. And this is the URL everyone can go to vote for the People's Choice winner, which gets £1,000. So everybody online, feel free to go to this URL. It's tinyurl.com, tinyurl.com. Sync vote. So that's it. Or you can try and, if the cameras zoom in, maybe on the QR code, you'll be able to scan it at home, I assume. Just open your camera, scan it, and it'll open it up there. So go along there and vote. So we'll keep that open. How long should we keep that open for? 5 minutes or so, and then we'll shut it down. So, Martin, would you like to come up here? And while the judges are deliberating, we've actually got another speaker for you, and Martin's going to introduce them.
Thanks, John. That was some awesome presentations there. The judges are going to have a difficult time. Do your voting online as well. But in the meantime, I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman called Chris Reed. And Chris is a serial entrepreneur. He's had a number of businesses over the years, some successes, some failures. But his latest project was taken to Dragon's Den, and he bagged his dragon. He is launched a new project with the backing of a dragon. And over the last couple of days, we've had on our screens some inspirational quotes, one of which is, "Don't be afraid of failure. You only have to get it right once." And I think Chris has got it right. But let's hear now from Chris Reed about his experience of starting up businesses and his appearance on Dragon's Den. Chris, over to you.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? I can't quite see the audience on my link, so I'm just guessing that everybody can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping I'd get away from that one. Never mind. Okay. Well, listen. Well, the first thing I want to say is a massive thank you for the invite to join this event. I've just been sitting listening to the different presentations. They're absolutely fantastic range of ideas. Really, really inspirational stuff. I'd particularly like to find out if the lady who presented the Zing product was actually using her own product, because if she was, I'd like to have a box of that. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm Chris Reed. Hello, everyone. I'm, as Martin had mentioned, an entrepreneur who has managed to bag a dragon. It's a product called Parking Perks. I'm not here to promote that. I'm here to tell you a little bit about my story, hopefully to give you a little bit of inspiration. I'm particularly keen to see, and I will follow the journey of these 5 or 6 companies that I've seen there tonight, because I'm quite keen to see how you guys progress, particularly if you're looking for investment, which is obviously one of the biggest challenges you face as an entrepreneur if you're looking for that kind of funding. From my point of view, way back, I was one of 3 partners who grew a software company organically through to a multi-million-pound sale. And that was a very successful business at our peak. And when we sold, we had 75 employees across a number of bases across the UK and in India. I enjoyed a lot of success in those days. And after the sale of that business, I went on to set up another business in software, which unfortunately wasn't as successful and died a death, to be frank. And that was quite a jolting experience for me, not just professionally, but personally too. I'd invested all my money into that business. I propped it up with my own assets. In the end, that business failure cost me my house. So my house was repossessed. I also had an investment property which went. My good lady and my 3 kids, who were very young at the time, we moved out of a nice big property, and I was driving a nice decent car, and we moved into a 3-bed rental property, and I had to borrow my brother-in-law's 10-year-old Kangoo, which had a leak in the roof, and there'd be a puddle in the floor whenever it rained overnight. So quite a jolting experience. And what that experience taught me is that failure, probably I learned more from the failure of that business than I did from the successful business. And that's something that, as an entrepreneur, as you will all go on your journey, you will experience failure. Okay, it's guaranteed. It's just part of the thing. You have to be resilient to it, and you have to embrace it, and you have to learn from it. So particularly when, the experiences I had, it was particularly tough mentally. I felt as though I'd failed as not just a businessman, but also as a father and as a husband. So really questioning myself and my priorities in life, what I was doing, what I was trying to do. Then I had another idea, and I was questioned as to whether or not I should go again, but I got back on the horse, And the problem I had at that time, though, was I had no money. So I knew it was going to be a long journey because I wasn't able to throw money at it as I'd maybe done previously. And I had no money, and I had to do things in a very lean way. And again, that taught me a lot. I managed to secure some grant funding from Innovate UK, as it happens, to support developing a prototype of what I was trying to build, and then a pilot of that particular solution. And that pilot was all about sort of testing the feasibility of the solution, both from a commercial point of view and a technical point of view. Managed to get through the pilot. It was a great success. We ascertained that, yes, there was life in this. There was a real potential for scale, and that I was able to then take it on. Now, the challenge I then had was to find some money to actually take me to the next level. And unfortunately, I spent around 12 months or so scouting around for investment, meeting dozens and dozens of investors, and encountering lots of different reasons as to why they wouldn't invest. So every time that sort of was fed back to me, I was thinking, oh, I'm struggling to validate my idea here. It's a real mental challenge to embrace that sort of feedback and to move on. But what I wanted to do was to take that and use it in a positive way. Now, 12 months or so passed by, and then the Den came along. And I was actually contacted by the BBC. A researcher had picked up on my story. I'd won a few awards with the idea. I pitched it around a bit, and I was a little bit of a blip on the radar, I guess. So the BBC contacted me and asked me, did I want to go on Dragon's Den and try and raise investment that way? And that was, again, quite something to address mentally. I'm a big fan of the show. I've watched it since the first series, and I've seen a lot of great stories on there, but I've also seen a lot of sort of car crash TV, and you'll probably be aware when you watch a business sort of crash and burn on TV, it can be quite damaging, not just to the business, but to the individuals as well. So to take that on was a bit of an ask, but I thought, what the hell? I've got pretty much nothing to lose. I did generally go in there looking for investment. It wasn't just about the PR or the media, etc., although that's quite valuable, obviously. And I don't know if anybody of you have seen it. It's on YouTube. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm probably the sweatiest man that's ever appeared on Dragon's Den. The actual process, you go in, you pitch for 3 minutes, and then it's Q&A. Now, that lasts as long as it lasts. Now, what you see on TV is 8 minutes or so of an edited version of that. I was in there for about 2 hours, 15 minutes. And they don't give you a break. They don't stop and allow you to have a glass of water, which is another reason why I was sweating a lot. And the biggest thing I needed was a towel, which they wouldn't give me. And I was basically kicked around for 2 hours or so by 5 of the smartest business brains in the land. And it was brutal. It was really, really tough. Probably the toughest thing I've done professionally ever. But obviously I had a decent outcome. I managed, as Martin mentioned, I managed to bag a dragon. And the 3 things I'm asked the most about Dragon's Den is the lift real? Is Deborah Meaden really a big softie in disguise? And are you now a multimillionaire because you've got a dragon investment? And the answer to all of those is no. So there you go. But the prospects of my business have obviously have kicked on since the investment. COVID's had a massive impact after stress. It's been a really tough time. My products are all about the high street. It's about regenerating the high street. And obviously, over the last 16 months or so, it's been a really tough time for town centre businesses across the land. But we are now starting to see a little bit of fruition in terms of the business. So we're sort of moving onwards and upwards. But going into the Den, and after sort of 12 months or so of not being able to secure an investor, I kind of honed my pitch, and I was learning all the time about why people didn't want to invest. So when I went into the Den, I kind of used that. And when I had these like 5 superpowers all sort of kicking me around, I was able, I think, to basically answer all of their questions and all of their concerns about, why the business would be successful and how it would scale, sort of thing. So that was an experience based upon failure. So I'd failed to get an investor for 12 months, went on to probably the biggest test of a pitch in your life, and managed to get some sort of success in there. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is there are 3 words I want to leave you with, I guess. Failure is feedback, okay? whatever you do in terms of how you take your business forward, you will hit some failure at some point, okay? You need to be able to embrace that and learn from it and be resilient to it and take it on the chin, but adapt, pivot, move your business in a way that you know, takes the feedback from that failure and takes you to the next step. And as Martin said before, it only takes one flash of success amongst all that failure to kick on. So that's what I'd like to leave you with, I guess, in terms of my little tip in terms of being an entrepreneur. It is tough. If it wasn't tough, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And it's another cliche people bandy around. But like I said, 3 words to leave you with: failure is feedback. I'm on the way as well, by the way.
Thank you, Chris. That was fantastic. We're really good of you to share those thoughts and feelings with us and the life lessons. I'm going to, if it's okay with you, throw it open to some questions. Not sure what's going to come forward.
No problem. Actually, I feel like, Martin, before you throw them, I feel like this is kind of like Eurovision. I kind of like I'm signing in from
yeah. There's
hello,
about...
Norwich. Hello, Norwich.
Hello.
Woo woo! Chris from Geordieland here.
There's about 80, I would say 80 people in this room. We're in a tent in Norwich, so yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we're in a circus tent in the middle of a field in Norwich, but you are being streamed around the world, so be careful what you say. John, as you've got a microphone there, if there are any questions...
Put your hand up if you want to ask Chris a question.
Anybody got a question for Chris, please?
Come on.
Or is there anything online?
I'll seed a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, so if you got to talk to your 20-year self now, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Look after your hair. No. It's a funny one. I've been asked a couple of times about what I would do differently, and I would be honest with you. I wouldn't do anything differently, even though I've had some really tough times and had some failures. It's shaped where I am now. It's shaped where I've got to. So you know, my 20-year-old self was a little bit less aspiring, I guess. I'd kind of settled into a kind of a job. I wasn't really looking at the entrepreneurial thing. What sort of triggered me into that? I got an offer to join a company that was really at the very start of its journey. There was a couple of guys basically, and they asked me as the third guy. So we were all running around doing crazy things, and that's when I got the entrepreneurial bug. So you know, looking back and going through that journey again, yeah, I definitely. I'll probably do it all the same way. I'll probably make the same mistakes, and that's going back to my point I was making before. Those mistakes, you know, define how you move on, how you make the next step, how you make the next decision.
Great.
So that failure that I've gone through and all that kind of stuff is really been part of the journey. It's, you know, it's part of any entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so your message to your 20-year-old self is keep failing.
Not keep failing, keep learning. And also, you know, drink a little bit less and look after your body, because when you get to my age, it's starting to get a bit tougher to get up in the mornings.
Yeah, good advice. Cool. We have a question from, well, 2 questions. We got Hugh Sayer, business writers.
Chris, thank you. Brilliant talk. Thank you very much. A quick question, really for the young aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience. Where should they go looking for the idea? They want to get into business. They're really motivated to do something, but it's like, where do you start? How do you find the thread to start pulling on?
There's a number of absolutely fantastic programs that a lot of different types of organizations run. So for instance, NatWest do the Entrepreneurial Spark thing. Barclays do their Eagle Labs thing. So there's lots of little programs like that, which you should try and research and find out what's going on in your sort of location. Get yourself along to those, because what they will do, they'll do a lot of workshops and a lot of sort of coaching and training about how you can develop your business idea. And also they will introduce you to contacts. And one of the most important things in business is contacts and networking. That's absolutely critical to any entrepreneur who wants to kick on, especially if you're young, you've got to make those contacts. Why not, you know, drop a line to people who are local that you know about, who are successful. You'll be surprised at how receptive people are who maybe has gone through a bit of success, who are willing to share and feedback. I've had a few guys get in touch with me purely because of the den, to ask me certain questions about what they want to do. And I'm quite open to responding to that. Anybody in the audience there tonight wants to get in touch with me, not even a problem. I'm sure Martin will sort out some sort of way of sharing my contact details. You can find me on LinkedIn, not even a problem. Get in touch. It's so important to expand your network. That's so important. I mean, one of the things you learn from going on the den is what the value of the dragons give you is their black book. It's their contacts. That's what they're giving you. It's not just the money. Yeah, the money's nice and it looks great when there's a big pile in front of you on the desk when you get in there, but that's not what it's about. The dragon gives you value because of their black book and the contacts they've got. That networking is a huge, huge important part of any journey. If you want to succeed, you've got to do it in collaboration with someone or some people. So get used to networking. Try and find out what's going on in your local area in the context of things like I said, the entrepreneur and Spark or accelerator programs, etc. But get in touch with people who you respect and who think, you know, even Richard Branson, even, you know, whoever, just get in touch. You'll be surprised at the response you get. Most of these guys want to help the next generation, so do it, you know.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, we had an online question from Mal Moritz. How does a person get started if they have a good business idea? I think it's pretty much the same question there that you answered. So we got Tom Wood from Foolproof. You got a question there?
Hey there, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tom.
It's in the same vein, but you can see where we're at tonight, right? So after 2 days, you've got 6 teams that have got an idea, a spark of an idea, and they're just starting to play with it and shape it as a possible business. What do you think they should be doing next week to sort of decide whether it's something they should push along and invest some more time and energy into, or, you know, walk away from and go back to the day job?
It's all about validating the idea. Okay, at this stage, you're obviously very early. Most of you, I think, probably Waster are probably a little bit further along because you've got your site ready and ready to go. Was that yours, Tom? Sorry, Waster, yeah. So it's all about validating your idea. You've got to validate that idea in as quick and as lean a way as possible. So you identify who your potential clients are going to be. The clients, at the end of the day, your customers, whoever that is, you have to validate it through them. So you've got to do some legwork and get in front of those potential customers, find out whether or not your idea is a runner, and do that enough. Whether, you know, it might not be, you know, you might not get the right answer in the first 10 people you speak to, but if you get a proportion or enough sort of validation, then it's feasible to take that and scale that. So you've got to validate that idea, and you've got to do that in a way where you're not spending lots of money. You've got to do it really lean. You know, it depends how you're funded. You know, look around. There are grants and things available, particularly in this game where you've got an environmental edge to your product. There are lots of public funding around. Innovate UK is a great source. Have a look to see if you can get any kind of grant funding at all to support you validating that idea. Once you get through that validation stage, then you can start to develop the product maybe a bit more in line with what those customers are looking for from the product. So yes, you've got a great idea. Get the customers to validate what you're thinking, and you might make it pivot. It might make it change the product. It really does need that validation to take it to the next stage. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Chris. We've got another question from Phil McSweeney. He's an angel investor himself and a non-exec director.
Hello, Phil.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming on this and sharing your experience with us. You've said earlier on that you've had so many people say no to you when it comes to investment over 12 months, and indeed probably most of the dragons, but you bagged one.
Yeah. Thanks for highlighting that, Bill. That was good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's relevant to the question that I'm going to ask, which is, if you put yourself in their position, if you had money to invest, what is it, you know, top of your list, 2, 3 things that you would be looking for in the people, in an opportunity? You know, what ticks your boxes?
Well, with the millions that I've made so far, I'm ready to invest. Obviously, no, it's a very good question, Phil. For me, one of the biggest things is the team, the people involved in the business. Are they investable? Are they the kind of characters you can work with? Are they able to take criticism, feedback? Are they able to adapt? Can they pivot? Can they choose to when to move? There's a lot of things about the personality of the founders of a business that will drive its success, and that's an absolute given. You don't necessarily have to be surrounded by hugely talented people. You know, you've got CTOs and COOs and all sorts of people. Like, you just have to have the right minerals to be able to take your idea and to take it to wherever you need to go. But it's the ability to empathize with your customers, the ability to empathize with your investors, the ability to empathize with your own team. That's a massive skill set that a leader and a founder needs to have. So that the personalities involved in a business are hugely important. The idea, obviously, is also hugely important. It has to be sound. It has to be something that has scalability for an investor, depending on the nature of the investor, of course, but the scale of the investment is normally linked to the scalability of the business. So if you've got a great lifestyle business, then you might attract a certain type of investor who might be after a small sort of return. But if you're looking at something where you're going to kick on and take this to multi-city, a lot of the pitches tonight, we're talking about taking this not just domestically into multiple cities, but internationally and things like that. You are talking about needing probably the investment from some significant, very sophisticated investors who will see a lot of good ideas, And that's one of the things that the Den and events like this will do for a business. It raises you above the noise. Okay, so there's 100,000 people out there with great ideas, but which are the ones that are getting the most attention? If you get yourself an award or a win at a competition like this, if you go on Dragon's Den, whatever it takes to get you above the noise, that's when you get the attention, and that's when you're spreading it further in terms of the investors, and that's when you get hopefully a bit more validation. But sorry, I've kind of jumped around on the point there, to be honest, Phil, but the people the founders of the business are very, very important. An investor particularly an investor who wants a bit more of a hands-on approach, will look at how easy it is to work with them. And secondly, the idea has to have legs, and it has to be able to scale for whatever level of investment that they're looking for to be able to take it forward. I hope that kind of makes sense.
That is fantastic, Chris. We're going to draw a line there, but I just leave you with one last quick question. Is, you didn't say this about your younger self, but if you do want to give up on Newcastle United and become a Canary, give up on the Magpies and become a Canary, it's not too late. We would welcome you into the fold.
Can I just say, I have been to one Norwich City game against Stoke City. I was in Norwich and I was socialising with a few friends. We decided to go and watch this game. It was 0-0. It was the dullest football game I've ever seen in my life. But I had a great time. Carrow Road at the time, it was a fantastic stadium. Norwich, I love Norwich, great city, great party city actually. Very, very small and easy to get around. So it's a great part of the world. It just takes me longer to get there than it does to get to America. So that's the only reason I couldn't attend tonight. So.
But thank you very much, Chris. We really appreciate your time. And if everybody could show their appreciation in the usual way. Thank you.
Cool. So the judges are coming in now. And we'll be announcing the People's Choice first, and then the Judges' Choice second. If you are part of the winning team and you want the dosh, where are we going? Yeah, Judge's Choice first. Cool. And yeah, make sure you have to get your voucher over here. Over here, yes. Come to this desk. If you're a winning team, UEA will give you like your voucher, and then you'll be able to get the dosh later. Yeah, so Fiona, head judge. I don't know. Yeah, you can go up there. Sweet. Cool.
Good evening. So it's been a real pleasure, actually. We do Sync the City every year, and
pandemic permitting, obviously. But we haven't done a themed one, and it's been a really brilliant theme, and you've really given the judges quite a run for our money, trying to sort of distinguish between the products and figure out which ones were really good, and we thought they were all really good, in fact. So I'm just going to go through each presentation in the order that they came up and just say a couple of things that we liked about each presentation. And then I'm going to hand to John, who's going to announce the People's Choice winner, and then I'll come back and announce the judges' winner. So the first project was Breathe, and we thought this project had great vision, clear and well-developed pitch. We liked the low-tech flip charts and the designs on those, and we really liked the link to Norwich and obviously to sort of making the best out of the pandemic and making sure that we can recycle some of that waste. Scoop, we thought this was really on industry trend and really a unique application to the upcycling problem. We like the reverse provenance of being able to trace and have confidence in the recycling and upcycling process, which isn't there at the moment. And then Miko, we thought this again was addressing a real issue that's become absolutely critical through the pandemic with more remote and hybrid working. And as you said, sort of being able to address co-working spaces and people on the move, making sure they've got the products that they need to prevent injury and improve productivity. So we really like that. Zing, we thought that was a really strong presentation and delivery. Some of us liked it, some of us didn't in terms of the taste, but I expect that's normal with a lot of different products. So we thought great packaging and the logo was really nicely designed. So we enjoyed that one as well. Palatable, we thought this was a great idea. We liked the bespoke design. We thought it was great to be able to reuse the pallets in this way, and just thought that was a really nicely presented product. And then Waster, we really liked the hyperlocal approach, and we thought the focus again on Norwich or the place was really interesting and exciting. And we thought there were lots of creative ideas throughout the presentation and the approach being presented. So, as I said, 6 really fantastic presentations and pitches, and we really enjoyed every single one of them. And so not to hold you in suspense for too much longer, I'm going to ask John to come up and...
We're just going to, if you come on down, we're just going to make a little change, and then before we announce the winners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yep.
This is the joy of working with John.
Yeah.
It just changes every
Cool.
30 seconds.
So we've got
John.
a little, if you come on down, Fiona, and sit down, we've got a little show reel.
We're not looking anywhere near as grumpy as we were when the photograph was taken. It's my sheer delight to advise you of the winner of the People's Choice Award. Voting was hectic, and it was very, very, very close with 2 sort of front runners. However, I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the People's Choice, not a gold envelope, is Zing. Well done. I've got nothing to give you, so...
Can you all go up on stage so we can get the photo with the judge? So stand each side of the judge in the middle. Team shot, lots of happiness. Good. There we go. Great. Zingsters, come over this way. Yes, here we go. Go on.
Okay, so the moment you've all been waiting for. Who did the judges think was the winning team?
So the winner for their simple and focused idea. We like the business-to-business approach, and we thought this would be a really big enabling platform. And the winner is Scoop.
The stage, guys. Can we go back to this one? Okay, guys, we're just going to wrap up now. It's only going to be another 10 minutes. We've got to thank a lot of people. But firstly, well done to everybody. We have done it. Give yourself a round of applause. You've really got to be proud of yourselves. Not many people will spend, this is the first weekend of freedom, so to speak. Not many people will give up that weekend, in this tent, trying to solve local problems. So even just signing up and committing to it is amazing. And this year, normally we get a drop-off on the event. This year, there was only one no-show because you all really wanted to come here and solve this topic. So it really is amazing that you guys have done that. So we've got to thank the people that make this possible. Norwich Bid, you guys have been amazing, like in supporting the event from the money, paying for the tent, etc., which is obviously funded by the partners. UEA have been a partner of Sync the City since the first year. Always their events team helps organize it, and their staff come and help run it. So thanks a lot, UEA. And you want to say a few words about Upcycle by Waste? Yep.
Yeah, and of course this is an EU-funded project, one of the last ones that we'll all be able to take part in. We hope there'll be more, but yeah, so thank you to the European Union and of course all the supporting sponsors. Without those guys, these things wouldn't happen.
Yeah, so that's Langham, Norwich Good Economy, FX Home and Lees Prior.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So we're going to say thank yous to individuals. Julie Schofield, one there at the back. She deserves it. Thank you, Julie. Love working with Julie. And the UEA ambassadors, thank you for all your work. And then also you built and launched your own startup. Well done, guys. The mentors, please stand up. Please stand up. We love you. We love you. Yeah. Thanks for all your efforts.
Wouldn't have been possible without the mentors.
And a personal thanks to Tom Wood here, lead mentor. He's been keeping us all on track, really trying to make those teams a success. Thank you. And the caterers at the back there, I don't know if they're here, they've really done a great job. Really appreciate them. Great food, really friendly crew. Where's Tim? There he is. He's always capturing the moment and producing that nice video there. Thank you very much, Tim. We love you. These people are not here, but they've been actively involved in preparing, helping us get the mentors together, etc., and promoting. Unfortunately, they weren't able to attend in the end, but yeah, thank you, Paul, Catherine, and Hayley. The judges, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate you coming along
Yeah, the team from Binnett, they've come up from Exeter, been with us through 48 hours practically, but had to leave just before. So they're now watching us via YouTube on the train back to Devon, but they did a fantastic job, I think, in supporting all the teams. So thank you, Binit.
Yeah, but especially, especially Philippa.
Yeah.
Philippa, CEO of Binit, she really has, been a massive success to this. The tech crew. Thank you very much. You've done a really good job live streaming. If you ever need AVs, live streaming, look these guys up there. It's really a slick event. Thank you very much. Dude.
Hey.
I really love this guy. We've been working a bit over the last few months.
Yeah.
We've had loads and loads of hiccups. This is the second tent. This is the second tech gear. Anything that comes up, any blocker, he sorts it. Literally anything. The security came up, the toilets, everything. He goes, we'll get on it. And then we have meetings every Monday. It's all solved. So well done, Martin.
Yeah. I feel a bit of a fraud there because all these problems come up and I say, Colette, can you fix it for me? And she does. So, that's where the real credit goes, at the back there. Thank you, Colette.
That's it, yeah.
No. There's got to be one more.
We all had a year off last year, didn't we? From the particular brand of creative mayhem that John Fagan will unleash onto our lives. But I'm very glad that we're back. And looking forward to many, many more events and craziness ahead. So the person whose genius this particular event is, I'd like us all, if we would, one more time, to thank Mr. John Fagan for his fantastic work. Thank you, John.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So, that's a wrap, really. What pub are we going to? The Plough. We're going to the Plough. And, see you all there. Thank you. Cheers. Take it easy.